Hey there, everybody. Good evening on Facebook. Good to see you tonight. It's Thursday, December the 13th, 2018. It's day 3 of the 12 days of Gen Hacks. And I'm thrilled that you're here whenever you get to hop on. Hope you'll share and like and comment as much as you're able. Ask questions, private message me. I'm Jennifer. I am a wife of 1. I'm a mama of 13. I have a little part-time job alongside homeschooling my children, which is one of my biggest passion soapboxes. And I'm the wife of a pastor. And I'm just hopping on every night here for the next, I guess we're on day 3, so next 9 days up until Christmas time, and giving you a few of the hacks or tips, as we are saying these days. Hacks, where did we get that word? I don't know. A few Gen Hacks. I think one of my friends said that on my business team. I can't remember where we got that name, but obviously it fits. It's after me, Jen, and hopefully the hack part will be something that'll save you something. So for the last 2 days, we've been talking about health stuff, home stuff, or a quote, and that's the subject areas I've been hitting. So tonight is actually, it's going to hit pretty much all 3. I didn't intend for that to happen, but that's what I'm aiming for, okay? And then we'll let you hop off and get back to your amazing evening tonight. So, emergency meals and the picky eater. I get asked a lot what to do about picky eaters. And I didn't think about connecting it to emergency meals, but I'm going to. It just happened to fit that way when I looked at it earlier today. So how do you do an emergency meal for 15 people? Well, you're forced over time to go, okay, so that's going to work and that's not going to work. And I truthfully think God just knew I needed extra help deciding some of these things, and he blessed us with more children than the usual family out there in the world. Hi, Heather. You and I both know Heather is a mama of 10, and we both have those moments where we're really forced to think fast, think on our feet, not make excuses and get it done, be on a budget, do it on a shoestring, whatever you want to say. All those adjectives and terms apply. So this is what I do when I need an emergency meal, okay? Now, along with needing an emergency meal, of course, I can just grab a few boxes of mac and cheese, and that's really not going to be that expensive. But in addition to wanting an emergency meal, I also kind of want it to be somewhat healthy, okay? So keeping in mind budget and keeping in mind health at the same time, that can be a harder mix. Now, sometimes I do that. Sometimes I'll just grab something in a box, but it just really doesn't make sense for my family. By the time I get my boys in on the meal and my husband, and I'm sorry, but my girls eat as much as my boys, that just doesn't make that much sense. And on top of that, though those things are cheap, they're really cheap ingredients too. So again, the health and the budget angle, I need both. So this is what I do. And this is actually how I make my menu throughout the week for the whole entire month. I need something that has a meat, a vegetable, and cheese. Okay? And if you're an okay with carbs person, then rice. Okay? Those 4 areas. I basically do a roll-up. That's our emergency meal. And I do it with tortillas. And I'm going to give you options for the tortillas here in a minute too. So when I say to kids we're having tortilla roll-ups, that could even include breakfast, okay? Which actually I forgot before I just sat down right now, okay? So you need a meat, any meat in your house, okay? Cheese, any cheese in your house. Vegetable, any vegetable in your house. And then rice if you do rice. And then it could even be a scrambled egg, okay? Most people are going to have at least 2 of those 4 ingredients. If you're in desperate need of groceries, you're probably going to have at least 2 of those 4, okay? And with those 2 of those 4, you can make a roll-up really easily, okay? When I tell my girls, hey, let's do roll-ups tonight, they know that's an emergency meal. And that implies we're trying to do something fairly quick, okay? All we have to do is pop out the electric skillet and saute what we've got going on with the meat and the vegetables together. Top it with the cheese. If we don't have the rice ready, of course, that's a time thing. If you don't have time for the rice, you can skip that. That works for my family, and it goes far enough with my eaters that they're satisfied, okay? Now, like I said, I use that for my main menu as well. Yes, I love the Hillbilly Housewife. I've seen that, Heather. I love her. I didn't know she was still around. I'll have to check her out again. Yes, this is an amazing meal. This is an amazing meal for company. My daughter Hannah is on here, so she can add if she remembers anything about what we did when she was there. She's about to turn 23. And oh, how I miss you, Hannah. Love you, babe. So you can see from here how you can pretty much throw everything but the kitchen sink in on your meal, right? Now, as far as what I do for a month, when it comes to meat, we actually raise our own meat. And so, of course, that's a really big add. That probably saves me, I don't know. I've done the numbers for this, and I'm sorry I don't have the exact ones in front of me. We're talking $500 to $800 a month that saves me. Okay, and it's good stuff. It's grass-fed beef. My dad got us started on that about 10 years ago. He himself raises beef and has done my whole entire life, that same exact thing. I'm kind of a beef snob. For those of you who are vegans, or do you say vegan or vegan? I don't know. I'm not sure. If you happen to be vegan or vegetarian, of course, you can skip that route, okay? But the healthier it is, I want to also mention when you're feeding children, we're talking about children here, and we're going to get into a picky eater real quickly. You want to have quality ingredients, mamas, because quality ingredients mean they're more satiated, okay, i.e. they're fuller, they're more satisfied, because it's good stuff. You might have noticed when you just flip through the drive-thru and you just grab a chicken nugget thing, how many times do they say an hour or two later, "I'm hungry, Mom"? Okay, so I pretty much early on into this gig decided, you know what, I'm going to have to give them real food, okay? One of my things is nutrient-dense food. If you need resources for nutrient-dense food and what that actually means, what that is, we have totally forgotten what that is in America, okay? We have basically a standard American diet, and that's not my gig for tonight, but look up some info on that, the standard American diet. Do a search on Doug Kaufman. He's an excellent resource on that. Look up Nourishing Traditions. That's an amazing resource. It's just a beautiful history book, actually. You would love that. Now, remember, I'm a homeschooling mom. I also want to say, if you're a mom, you're a homeschooling mom, okay? If your children go to public, private, whatever kind of school, yes, Heather, I hear you for sure. No matter what type of academia they experience, you're still homeschooling. Daddies, you're still homeschooling. You're schooling at home on all the other stuff you add to their academia, right? So you're teaching them how to eat well. You're teaching them how to be obedient. You're teaching them the spiritual beliefs that you hold. You're teaching them how to be kind. You're teaching them. You're teaching them. Whenever you're not with them, others may be teaching them on the academia side, as I said, but everyone does that. So I'm going to include us all, okay? If that's cool with you, I'm going to include us all. Diet and teaching the palate is absolutely critical. In fact, another great resource, and I will try to remember to write these down in the comments so you have them, so you can refer to them. An awesome book is called Hints on Child Training. It's by Clay Trumbull. It actually was written in the late 1800s. A Dad of 8. Phenomenal resource, okay? One of the chapters he talks about, yes, chapters, is training your child's palate. What is your child's palate? It's basically teaching them that they're going to eat what we're eating. It basically is teaching them what is real food and what isn't. And on that note, I actually do on purpose teach them that occasionally we will eat a convenience food, maybe once a month or so. Maybe twice if it's an absolute necessity, maybe if we're traveling. That is okay too. I do want them, yes, Nourishing Traditions, thank you, by Sally Fallon. Allison, thanks. I do want you to know that it's not absolutely 100% strict away from what I would call the junk foods, because I don't want them to not know how to adjust. Let's say if they're with a friend or they're with company, or let's say someone asks us over to their house and maybe they eat things that we don't eat. I think that's an additional skill for their palate. They need to be able to be in a position when we're around other people that they're able to eat what they're given, and they're able to respond gratefully and kindly and have manners, good manners. That's a whole nother area too. All that to say, training your child's palate, it does connect to the emergency meal idea, because let's say we're in an emergency time crunch. The deal is, what would happen to me? Yes, that's the awesome way to put it, Heather. What would happen to me as mom if, okay, so I've got Hannah, Nathaniel, Micah, Caleb, Esther, Benjamin, Phoebe, Abigail, Elizabeth, Susanna, Ezra, Rowan, and Galilee. And I all want, each of you want, they all want, rather, something different to eat. Come on, this is not going to happen. Now, all of you all, that makes perfect sense for you to listen and go, well, that's ridiculous. Yeah, of course. Okay, well, if you have a smaller family, that may be a more difficult thing to answer, because you may think, oh, I want to give them their grilled cheese, and so wants chicken strips and whatever. And listen, I'm not in on your plate. I am not telling you what to do, but I am suggesting that to make it easier on you, Mama, and you, Daddy, it is in everyone's best interest that we do something that I'm going to call my quote ad to this evening's quick Gen Hack. And that is something we say at the Dunford House that we've said since baby number 1 with Hannah. That is, you get what you dig. I'm tongue twisting tonight. You get what you get, and you don't throw fit. Okay? If you didn't get that, I'll say it again. You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit, okay? The reason we teach our kids that, because number 1, we're very blessed. We're very blessed in this country. If you're watching in the United States, I'm referring to you. If you're watching outside of this country, a lot of the places outside of this country are as well very blessed with a meal each night. But you know what, guys? There's lots of people that don't have that, even here in the Western Hemisphere. We are very, very blessed. If we have food in our pantry, we're very blessed. If that last thing in our pantry is a can of hominy, I want to teach our children to be grateful for that and to eat what we have. You get what you get, yes. That is so critical. It's not just that, oh, this is a mom hack and it makes it easier for me. Yes, that's a big part of it. It's not just that, you know what, I want to teach you to be obedient in this area as well as the other things that we work on in child training, just raising a family in general. It's that, but it's also, you know what, we have a lot to be grateful for, and we have no reason to be complaining, okay? And I think that's a critical character trait. It just connects to so many different things. And capsulizing that for the Gen Hack for tonight. Remember, we have 9 more days, or evenings rather, of 15-minute little Gen Hacks for the 12 days of Christmas. So to capsulize what I've said for this evening, my favorite emergency meal, which connects to picky eaters in allowing them to not be, is using a meat, cheese, vegetable, possibly rice, okay? And a side note on rice, you can keep that in a rice cooker. If you haven't tried a rice cooker, go get one. If you're able to, ask for one for Christmas. They're so amazing. Use a tortilla to wrap all of those up. And I also promised I'd tell you the different kinds of tortillas. If you need a low-carb tortilla, you can buy one by the name Joseph's. It's called Joseph's. It's actually a kosher brand of tortillas and really thin flatbread. They're very delicious. My family loves them. So they're low carb. If you're gluten-free, there's also gluten-free tortillas. You, of course, can use corn tortillas if you're gluten-free. They fit that option. And then if you want to go grain-free, which is another element, you can do your little wrap out of a thin egg mixture, okay? And that is basically what you'd consider to be a crepe, okay? Those are so good. Just look up grain-free egg crepes or something like that. An excellent resource on that is Danielle. Oh gosh, I'm going to blank on her last name. Hannah would know if she's on here. She's the Esther. Do you remember her name? She's a grain-free girl. If you look it up, you'll find her. She has tons of cookbooks. She had a really terrible health crisis and went completely grain-free. She has some lovely ideas for things like this. So, all that to say, when we're doing an emergency meal, what couples with that beautifully is we just don't get to be picky, okay? That's what I want to teach my children. I want to be teamwork minded. Thank you, Gina. Good to see you, dear. I want to be, how do we do this together, guys? You know what? I know so-and-so isn't your favorite, Abigail, but this is what we're going to do. Let's go for it. You can do it. You can do it. Now, that to be said, if we really have trouble, if they're younger, if they're 4 and under, there may be some kind of correction involved, some kind of motivation for them to try the food, because 9 times out of 10, moms and dads, they're going to like it. It's a mindset. And the reason I can say that is I was the pickiest eater alive. If my mom was on here, she would totally tattle on me. Okay. If you'd like to read more of that story, you can see that on my blog, justafamilything.com. If you'll do a little search on it, it will say something about picky eaters. Okay. Just as an example, I would ask my mom to cut the seeds off strawberries for me to eat them. I can't believe I'm admitting that on social media. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure she told me to go fly a kite. But anyway, that's part of my motivation too. So I hope you enjoyed that quick Gen hack. I will add the resources. Danielle Walker, that's her name, on the grain-free lady. She's a sweet girl, great example for the grain-free tortilla. Thank you. God, that just popped into my brain. Yay. So, you can't have an emergency meal, moms and dads, if you haven't taught your children to be happy with what they're eating, okay? A lot of young moms are stressed out to the max on what to feed their kids, okay? Stick to real food, keep real food in your house, don't give them the option of Cheetos, that kind of thing, okay? Stick to the real stuff, nutrient-dense food. Their immune system is going to thank you. Their behavior is going to thank you. And that is a whole nother, that's a whole nother Gen hack. Hadn't even thought about that connection. But I'm going to write myself a note. We'll have to do that too. Okay, so that covers the emergency meal and how that connects to a picky eater. If you just hopped on with us, please go back and catch the main points that we covered. I'm so happy that you joined me tonight. I have had a ball getting to do this for this last section of days before Christmas. And it's pushed me a little tiny bit, but it's been fun too. And I'm really, really grateful. If you've hopped on, you have blessed me. So tomorrow, day 4 of the 12 days of Gen hacks. Okay. And when we hit Monday night, remember, I'll be here for Mama Monday at 9:30 p.m. right here, same place on Facebook, 9:30. Okay. So guys and girls, hope you have an amazing night. I will see you next time. Thank you so much. Be blessed. Hugs. Bye, guys.